I've held the Capital One Savor card for 2 years now, and I want to give my honest review on how I've used this card over the past 24 months and if I would recommend it. The Capital One Savor has changed a little bit since I applied. In fact, this design right here is not even the current one. Now it looks like this. But overall, I do think that this card is going to be great for a lot of people's wallets. So really quickly, I'll go over a few things that have changed this year about this card, and then I'll go into the positives, and then the negatives, and then any alternatives that I might be looking at or you should look at to see if you should get the Savor card versus another one from a different issuer. So what has changed? A few months ago, Capital One sent out an email saying the Savor One card is now Savor. New name, same great rewards. So not really too much changed other than the name of this card and the design. So if you still think of this card as the Savor One card, kind of have to get that out of your mind and think of this as the Savor card. I still get confused because I have the old design of the card, but it is the Savor card. But it does have all of the same great rewards that everybody has always known about this card. Mainly the 3% cash back on grocery stores, 3% cash back on dining, and 3% cash back on entertainment and popular streaming services. But this card also had a category to earn 10% cash back right here on Uber purchases made through Uber and the Uber Eats app. But that did expire on November 14th, 2024. A pretty big blow to me a little bit because I use this card every time I made an Uber or an Uber Eats purchase. And it made it even better that this card, along with a couple other Capital One cards, also got an Uber One membership. Every single month, that membership fee was paid for by Capital One. So it would show up as a $9.99 charge on my Capital One Savor One account, and then that was quickly credited back to me, so I didn't have to pay anything, and that got me reduced fares on Uber, and on Uber Eats I saved with delivery fees being reduced or even all the way to $0. So no more 10% cash back, so that's not great, but there's also some other decent cashback categories. We'll come back to the welcome bonus and a few other things on this page, but right now we got to get started off with the Capital One Entertainment because you're going to be earning 8% cash back on Capital One Entertainment purchases. I have not done this yet with my Savor card. I just haven't felt a whole need to go through the entertainment portal and go find tickets and things like that for concerts or sporting venues. I mean, I don't really spend that much money on that anyway, but if you're somebody that's really into that, this card can be great. And then you can also get 5% cash back on hotels and car rentals booked through the Capital One travel portal. Again, I have not used my card to do this. It's just a matter of preference to me. If you want to keep things very simple and you have multiple Capital One cards, you want to keep everything in the whole same ecosystem, then it would totally make sense to go that route. But for me, I like to book directly with hotels or car rentals and even flights too. And then, like I mentioned earlier, 3% cash back on some really good categories: grocery stores, dining, entertainment, and popular streaming services. And I found out that the grocery stores, it excludes these like superstores like Target and Walmart. And then 1% cash back on every other purchase. I would say for a no annual fee card, the Savor does a great job of giving you really good value on your everyday purchases. But it gets even better because this card has no foreign transaction fees. So you can use this card when you're traveling. Of course, you can use it in the United States, and it will not cost you anything extra to do so. A lot of cards that we'll get into later on in the video, like Chase or Citi or Wells Fargo, they will charge you that transaction fee that you don't want to get on your credit card when you're traveling. And after you get approved for this card, you're going to be earning a welcome bonus of $200 when you spend $500 in the first 3 months of holding this card. That's going to be a really easy welcome bonus to hit. Only spending $500 in the first 3 months, I'm pretty sure almost everybody can do that. And it's a really nice incentive to apply for this card versus another one because it's a really easy $200 back in your pocket. There's also another benefit of 0% intro APR for 15 months on purchases and balance transfers. Of course, that's always really nice to pay 0% interest on your credit card, but just be extremely careful with this. You definitely do not want to go into debt, or if you already have some debt, definitely don't want to go into additional debt. So I'd say the only people that should be using this perk is somebody that really understands the risks that you take when you carry a balance on your cards. I would say that everything I've mentioned so far is a huge positive with this card. I mean, I really can't find any downsides in the details of this card. But let's get a little bit better. If you hold a miles earning Capital One card like the Venture One card, the Venture Rewards card, or the Venture X Rewards card, then there is something that you can do with your Capital One Savor cash back. You can take the Savor cash back if you really want to. I mean, that's the way that most people will do it. But if you have the Venture X, for instance, like I have, then you can transfer over your Capital One Rewards cash over to Venture Miles. You can't do it the other way around, so really make sure that you actually want to do this. But this gives you even more benefits to having the Savor card, because let's say you can earn 3% cash back in dining. Can take it as cash back if you want, but you could also turn that into 3 times Capital One miles and use that to transfer out to travel partners like Air Canada or Flying Blue, or their many other partners. Since I'm more interested in earning travel points instead of cash back, that is my main requirement when applying for a no annual fee card, that if it is a cashback card, I can also turn that cash back into miles or points if I choose to do so. And you'll see more of this later on in the video when I compare the Savor card to other no annual fee cards that you may also want to get. But before I get too far ahead of myself, there are definitely some negatives with the Savor card. Of course, there's that 10% cash back that we lost on Uber and Uber Eats purchases, but that was really more so of a huge bonus than just something that I would expect to have on this card all the time. So I'm not really too sad about not having that anymore. Something that is a huge negative is that Capital One is really picky about who becomes their customer. Like, this is a legitimate problem because somebody with amazing credit scores can get denied for Capital One cards for basically no reason. And a lot of people get super frustrated by this, and so I want to give you a few pieces of advice. If you go to the description box of this video, you'll find a referral link to the Savor card. If you want to click on that, you might go to a page that looks like this. And what we're really looking at is this green button that says see if you're pre-approved. If you click on that, it'll take you to this page where you can see if you're pre-approved for any Capital One card offers with no harm to your credit score. That's the main thing here. You can see if you're pre-approved for all of the popular Capital One cards without risking a denial. So on this tool, it'll let you know if you're pre-approved for the Quicksilver, the Savor, the Venture X, the Venture One, and then if you click on that arrow, there's a couple more cards there. But really, a couple of the good Capital One cards are the Savor, the Venture, and the Venture X. So if you click Get Started, you'll just have to answer a few questions like what's most important to you. I don't think this really matters that much. I mean, it's just kind of a survey. You can kind of click whatever, and then you'll have to put in all of your information. But remember, no harm to your credit score. Just go ahead and answer those questions, and at the end of it, if it says you're pre-approved, that's fantastic. And if it says you're not pre-approved, well, then maybe try again in a couple months. There's really nothing you can do. Capital One's really weird about who they want applying for their cards, and if it's not you right now, don't take it too personally. But remember, just because it says that you're pre-approved for the Savor card, you want to make sure that you're pre-approved for the actual Savor card, the one with a welcome bonus. So you're looking for the Savor Rewards card, not the Savor Rewards for good credit. A lot of times when I fill out this pre-approval tool, I will be pre-approved for the good credit one, the one without the welcome bonus, instead of the card that I actually find interesting, the Savor Rewards card with the $200 welcome bonus. That'll help you save so much hassle on not getting a hard inquiry on your credit report when you definitely didn't need one. And speaking of hard inquiries, here's another piece of advice I could give you. You should freeze your Experian credit report when applying for a Capital One credit card. Now again, I can't 100% guarantee that this is going to work for you, but Capital One does like to pull from all three credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and they like to give a hard inquiry on each bureau. This is something that's extremely frustrating with Capital One, and nobody likes it. I think with pretty much every bank out there, at least all the ones I can think of off the top of my head, they only give one hard inquiry to one of the three credit bureaus, but Capital One does all three. But if you freeze your Experian credit report, then that can save you a little bit of hassle. I did this when my wife was applying for the Venture X credit card. We froze her Experian credit report and it pulled from TransUnion and Equifax. So it was still two bureaus, which is really annoying, but at least it wasn't all three. So how you're going to be able to freeze your Experian credit reports, of course you have to create your free account on Experian.com, and then once you're logged in, it has all of your information in there. You can also see your credit score there. If you click on this up here, there's the profile icon. You can go to Help Center. Maybe there's a different way to find this, but this is always the route I take. And then it says Manage Security Freeze right there. Click on that, and then it's going to be super simple. By default, your file will be unfrozen, and all you have to do is click this button, and it'll go from unfrozen to frozen in just a couple seconds. And whenever you're done applying for the Capital One Savor card or any other Capital One cards, you can always click this button again to unfreeze it. So I'll say that this did work for my situation, but I don't know everyone's situation out there. It might not work 100% of the time, but there's a lot of data points online of people talking about this, and it's a great way to only get 2 hard pulls from a Capital One application instead of 3. So now that we know the positives about the Savor card and now the negatives of just Capital One in general, now we can get into other similar cards. I said earlier in the video that one of my criteria for a really great no annual fee card is one that can earn cash back but could also earn travel points. And so 6 cards right here that I have pulled up from Chase, Citi, and Wells Fargo, they have that ability. So we'll compare the Savor card to these 6. Now because I travel quite a bit, I want a card with no foreign transaction fees, but the Wells Fargo autograph card is the only one here out of these 6, along with the Savor card, that has no foreign transaction fees. So I wouldn't be confident about carrying around the Chase Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited, or the Citi Double Cash, or the Custom Cash, or even the Wells Fargo Active Cash around with me internationally. Of course, you might be somebody that doesn't care about traveling internationally and you're saying, I don't really need that benefit, but because it's my review about this card, I'll say that the Savor card is better than all of those ones right off the bat. And now we only have to compare this one to the autograph card. And the autograph card actually has some pretty decent spending categories. It says unlimited 3 times points on restaurants, travel, transit, gas, popular streaming services. There's a lot of really good stuff here, along with a pretty nice welcome bonus of 20,000 bonus points when you spend $1,000 in the first 3 months. And you can turn these 20,000 bonus points into a $200 cash redemption value if you choose to do so. I really like this autograph card, but I don't have first-hand experience with this one because I actually don't have any Wells Fargo cards right now. But I do think that it has some good similarities to the Capital One Savor card, and that's why the Savor card is my favorite no annual fee card right now. I consistently use this card where I can earn 3% cash back in dining and groceries, and most of that spend is happening internationally because of that no foreign transaction fee. And if you want to get this card, I do have that link in my description that'll take you to where you want to go. It really means a lot to me if you decided to support my work because I can make better and more videos for you. And if you want to watch another Capital One video, I have my top 3 Capital One credit cards right there for you to click on. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.